Hi, video journal number 2. So today I just want to play around with red because it's my favorite color, but also I'm going to do kind of a warm up and paint just with a size 12 round brush because I personally believe that art can be done with minimalistic amount of supplies. And I think that's really important. So many people get daunted about doing art because they think, I need that, I don't have it. What am I gonna do about that? So I'm just getting started here with some Fantastic Crimson and my round brush. I really thought about laying down a background first, but this is just fun. And again, I wanna use the most simplistic supplies possible, and a round brush is really so versatile when it comes down to it. And it can be cheap. I have some really nice brushes that I do like, but this is honestly one of my favorite brushes. I got it as part of a set from Artist Loft, and I grab it more oftentimes than not just because I love the size. I've taken care of it. I don't, crazy smoosh the bristles. I make sure do not leave your brushes just sitting in water. It will mess up your brush. You can always beat your brush a little bit, Bob Ross style when you got the cheaper one, just to make sure you get all those bristles out and you don't actually get it on your painting. But cheap brushes work beautifully. Watch some tutorials of some artists and just really notice. I see some of them use those cheap brushes that you get as just standard, painter's brushes for a couple dollars at Home Depot or a hardware store, It doesn't have to be a crazy investment. Same thing with your paints. Now, the tricky part is when you want to sell, you do need to consider, you'll hear a lot of people talk about archival quality, which all has to do with light fastness and if your paint is going to fade or crack. But that's really more when you get to a level that you're going to start selling your work. When you're first starting out, especially, just play. Just find something and just play with it. A great point to consider is if you are friends with artsy people, or maybe you join an art group in your area, there are a lot of people that are willing to share their supplies. Maybe not always, finite resources like paint. Maybe you can chip in for paint or something like that, but if they maybe have a brush to look at, or a lot of artists will have art reference books and things of that nature for you to look at and share in. A lot of artistic people are usually very open within reason. They might be a little mad if you take the really nice brush and start doing terrible things with it, so they might supervise you. But I think it's always good just to reach out. There's never a reason to just not do something. I feel like so often a lot of people, we think that we hit a wall and we're like, well, I don't have the supplies that I need to do what I want to do or to be able to do it perfectly. And that's where you need to ask yourself, do you really need those supplies? Is there another way that you can do it, that you can get really creative about it, with less of an investment? But again, I think we underestimate reaching out for help. I'm a big advocate of asking for help when you need it. I think that's a beautiful thing, but I also feel like we forget sometimes that we can always offer exchange, and sometimes we don't want to, or we don't want to reach out because we feel like we have nothing back to give. If we don't have something tangible, maybe you don't feel like you have the money for something, or you're like, well, I don't really have anything to give back to them to be able to use, so it's not worth it. First step would want. I mean, definitely check with your friends. Ask your friends about that. That would be step number one. My friends and I always like to say, we don't really like to keep tally of anything because it's friendship. It all comes out in the wash. And even when it doesn't, I've never regretted helping a friend because that's why we're friends in the first place. Even if we're not friends down the road, I like to think that it speaks more to my character than theirs. And, if it's a friendship that ended because of a lack of give and take, then I still never regret it. I just know and learn and move on. And I think we need to see more of that. So we see so much of people feeling like, I don't always want to be the strong one. Why am I always the strong one? I give so much of myself to other people and they don't give back. And it's because we've really idealized being selfless, of giving something for nothing. It's a really beautiful concept because, we want to be that generous individual. We want to just put ourselves out there and be able to give freely. But oftentimes we forget that if you just keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again, you are going to run dry. If nobody is feeding back into you, and I think that's so much of what we're seeing because everyone just shouts into the endless vacuum of social media. And you feel like you're not being heard or you're not being seen, and you just always give yourself to others. Maybe that's just the friend group that I have. But I think we need to get back to the beauty of exchange. And I think we get concerned sometimes because we feel like, oh no, I have nothing to give. When really there's so many things that we can do for each other that we just don't think about. Think back to when you were a kid and you wanted to give something to your parent. You're like, I'm broke, I have no money, I'm 8. So I think I gave my parents so many terrible drawings and bad poems. We are not going to dig any of those up. But while your friends may not necessarily want your poem or, terrible picture, if maybe you're not quite good at that yet, we underestimate the value of giving somebody else our time. That's just hanging out, go to the park, do something free. Or maybe you could offer to help them, they have a room that they need to paint. You could paint with them. Or writing wise, maybe they don't want that poem, but maybe they have something, if you're really good at grammar and technical writing, maybe you can help them edit something that they could use an extra set of eyes on, things like that. Or even, oh my goodness, I have a friend who is ridiculously good at winding cables. And that seems so small, but hands down, I would totally exchange something with him for him to come over and just get behind my TV and my consoles and help me organize those cables. Which, we don't think about as an actual thing, but it is. It's so small, but with technology playing such a huge part in our lives, it's just the little stressors of messy cables to all of a sudden know, oh my goodness, they're clean and beautiful and I love them. That would be awesome. Little things. Think about all the little things in life that you can give to be able to fulfill each other and not just throw energy down into an endless vacuum that doesn't give you anything back. Because if you run dry, you're not going to give anything to anybody anyway. Because you're going to be done. You're going to be kaput. So many people are unfulfilled right now. You got to find a way to give more into your life. I like to recharge with art. And right now, playing with this brush, which is what I love, I'm getting thin lines and thick lines just by the pressure that I'm putting on my brush here. It's another good way to think, right? That the results that you get in life can also come down to the pressure that you're putting on it. Sometimes you need a lot. Sometimes procrastinators, we love that pressure, right? We love the deadline. We don't work without it. But sometimes you just need a baby amount of pressure. You don't want so much pressure. Overcome and adapt. That's a little of what I'm doing here, because I personally have problems with my hand shaking. That's why I love acrylics. Acrylics dry so nice, so that it's not as terrible if I need to rest my hand. If I was doing a painting that I planned on selling, I would maybe want to use a sheet of paper, some wax paper or something, and I would protect the painting. But right now, I just do this. And sometimes, if you're like me and you have a super unsteady hand day, I personally just grab my wrist, prop up that, and it helps steady me a little bit. Right? And of course, I'm just one person, right? Just one person with an opinion and a camera. So I really love to hear what you guys think. And if you are doing an art warm-up today, maybe take a picture and post it in the comments below. I'd like to see what gets you going. I'm probably gonna have to take a little break after this, and then I'll warm back up because I'm having a bit of a shaky hand day. And some days are a little worse for wear, but that's okay. I make it work. That comes back to the I could complain because it's not what I want to do, and I want to do art today. Well, I can still do art. I'm doing art right now. Maybe I can't do some of the more intricate work that maybe I planned on, but it is good to exercise the wrist and fingers. And rather than pout if I can't do it exactly how I want to do it today, I can definitely plan my composition, or I can even just go do something else. Maybe spend some time with friends today, right? There is nothing that dictates this is the only thing that I can do today to feel accomplished. I think if we asked my cat, he would say I could feel very accomplished today if I spent the day snuggling him. That is not what I'm going to do, but he would be very happy if I did. All right, that is it for me today with the warm-up. Again, I'm having a bit of a shaky hand day, so I don't know how much art I'm gonna get back to, but it was really fun to do the art journal. Again, if you are doing your own art warm-up today, take a picture, throw it in the comments. I would love to see it. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.